The St. Louis Cardinals continue to find different ways to win ball games. And on Monday, it was with good old-fashioned power.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafford, and I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. You can follow me on X at JD Sports Radio, as well as the podcast at LO_Cardinals. We're on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, and hit that notification button so you know when new episodes are posted. Find us on TikTok and Instagram. This is a show that serves Cardinal Nation and gives the best fans of baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode being brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. So after taking down the Mets in their doubleheader on Sunday, the Cardinals, understandably, were probably feeling pretty good about themselves. And why shouldn't they? I mean, why can't we enjoy some victories, all right? Why has everything got to be so gloom, you know? The overall record is not where you want it to be, but you just took 2 out of 4 on the road in Cincinnati. You beat the Mets 2 out of 3 on Sunday. And now you have the Pirates in town. Well, I should say beat the Mets 2 out of 3. 2 of those wins coming on Sunday in the doubleheader. And now you've got the Pirates in town who aren't playing great baseball. They've lost 4 in a row coming into this series, while you've been, dare I say, maybe turning a corner a little bit. I don't want to get ahead of myself and jinx things, but I like winning. I think you like winning too. Cardinals have done more winning recently. And no, this team is not great by any means. I'm not trying to blow sunshine up your butt here. Plenty of flaws in the roster, specifically with the bullpen. It's always nail-biting time when we get into the bullpen. We don't know when or if they're going to be able to pull it off. It's still a work in progress, but that's why you get 162 games to figure these things out. And Monday night, the Cardinals' offense was the one that was on display, specifically with their power. Something that we haven't seen a ton of early on this season. It's not that it hasn't, that it's been non-existent by any means. You know, they're not like the Pirates, as far as being feeble in the power area of the stats. But this isn't a team that's really built around power. It's not. There's really not a guy in this lineup and on this roster that you can just count on and go 30 home runs right there. No problem. Gonna happen. There's guys with 30 home run potential. Ivan Herrera obviously was well on his way before his injury. Gorman has the potential. Jordan Walker, in my eyes, humongous man, has the potential, but it hasn't manifested yet for either of those two guys, in Gorman and Walker, so far in 2025. But Monday night, it was the long ball that got the Cardinals back into this game, got them the lead for good, and it was one of the newest Cardinals, Jose Barrero, who got things going. Early on, the Cardinals offense was having a tough time figuring out Pirates starter Carmen Mlodzinski again. This is the same guy who gave them fits their last time they faced him back on April 7th in Pittsburgh. He went 5 innings in that one, allowed just 1 run on 5 hits, and he struck out 6. I was hoping that they had figured him out a little bit better. Not really. They were better in this one, but through the couple of innings, they only had 1 hit. But in the bottom of the 3rd inning, Jose Barrero leads off that inning with his first home run as a Cardinal, working a 7-pitch at bat and then turning on a fastball on the inner half, drove that one into the Pirates bullpen in left field. That made it 1-0. 1 batter later, you got Alec Burleson smashing his 2nd home run of the season. This one was an absolute bomb. That was a tank job to right center field. Estimated 435 feet. That one was no joke. That ties the game up 2-2. Burleson hadn't hit a home run yet this season until Sunday when he clobbered one in the 2nd inning of Game 2. This home run was also significant because it was the first home run hit by a Cardinals designated hitter this year, which is mind-blowing that it took to the 5th of May before a DH on this team would finally hit a home run. And you've got guys like Contreras and Herrera and Luken Baker and Alec Burleson and Nolan Gorman. You've got a bunch of guys that are going to be moving around as the DH this year, and to not have a home run until May the 5th was a little bit shocking, but that is over now. don't have to worry about it. The DH has been an ugly spot in the offense, no matter who filled that role, but Burley breaks that homerless drought with his second of the year. And then we got a brand new ball game, right? We're all tied up at 2. The Pirates would reclaim the lead in the top of the 4th inning when, leadoff walk comes around to score. Oh, is that frustrating when you walk the leadoff guy in an inning, and it just more times than not comes back to kick you in the butt. And it did for Michaelis there. Although Michaelis didn't have a horrible night, only ends up giving up those 3 runs. So another steady job, I guess I can say, for Miles Michaelis. But the Cardinals bats would end up going silent again until the bottom of the 6th inning. And Michaelis has gone from this game by this point. With 1 out, the Pirates go to reliever Chase Shugart, who hadn't given up a run in his last 5 outings and had only given up 2 earned runs all season. He's been really, really good for Pittsburgh. But Nolan Arenado ends up working a walk to bring the Cardinals' hottest hitter to the plate, Wilson Contreras. And Willie would catch a sweeper low and in, and he smokes this one. Into the Pirates bullpen, 111.4 off the bat, an absolute seed. Like, it did not, it barely got over the wall in left field. It was just a line shot off of Willie's bat. Gives the Cardinals a 4-3 lead. It's Willie's 5th home run of the season. You saw the excitement and emotion in him when he circled the bases. And from there on, it was really all Cardinals. 3 straight singles. Gorman, Pajes, Victor Scott, they all get singles. Load things up for Jose Barrero, who rips the first pitch he sees down the line and left for a ground rule double, scoring 2 to make it 6-3. Pirates are lucky that it actually bounced and went over the wall, because that was Victor Scott II on first base. Probably going to score from first base on that one if that didn't go over the wall. But that smash by Barrero gave the Cardinals some breathing room. They would go on to win this one by the score of 6-3. Things got a little dicey in the 9th inning with Helsley, but he hangs on to get the save. Jose Barrero is your offensive player of this game. He is the star, filling in for the injured Mason Wynn, who will probably be back in the lineup on Tuesday. They said before the game that he probably could have come into the game as a defensive replacement if needed, but they're just going to give him a day after turning his ankle when he was on third base on Sunday. But Barrero fills it nicely, 2 for 4, gets the home run, gets the double, 3 RBIs, and apparently he owes Wilson Contreras a little bit as far as the hand in success here, because John Denton at MLB.com spoke with Willie after the game, who said he actually noticed Barrero's bat kind of lagging through the strike zone, and spoke with him about just loading earlier, getting started earlier when the pitch is coming in, and the results spoke for themselves. Willie had glowing things to say about Barrero, telling Denton that Barrero's got all the tools that are required to be in the big leagues. He's got the talent, and he has everything that we need. He also has the energy, and I'm glad that we have him here because we feed off his energy, and he's a good guy to have around. He was a big-time prospect with the Reds, and things just did not pan out for him. And, looking at him, you're just like, wow, what a, stunning athlete, 6'4", 215. He looks like he should be one of the best athletes in the world. That's the first thing that you notice about him, is just his stature and how big this man is. And luckily for the Cardinals, it's paying off. He's going to be somebody that's going to be a great tool for Ali Marmol coming off the bench for the Cardinals, being able to play center field, being able to play shortstop. So I'm glad he's on the roster finally. I was hoping he was going to make it on the roster out of spring training. They went with Siani. Things have shifted. Things have changed. Jordan Walker's been better defensively in right field, so they don't need to sub him out late in games like they thought they might need to. So Barrero is a piece that hopefully will stick around for a while. Contreras himself, 2 for 4 in this game, 5th home run of the season, 2 ribbies. On April 17th, Willie was hitting 139 with 1 home run and 7 RBIs. Horrible start to the year. Since then, Willie is hitting 381 with 4 home runs and 12 RBIs. He's got an OPS over 1,000, OBP of 466. He's slugging 603. He's been a monster. Alec Burleson, home runs in back-to-back games. Great sight to see after his long drought that went back to August of last year. Every Cardinal hitter had a hit in this game except for Lars Nootbaar, who still had 1 walk, but the Cardinals were all over the base paths, and it was a fun game to watch. The Cardinals, in fact, they should have had at least 1 more run in this game. They should have had a 7th run in this one, but for some reason, it was not allowed. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to give you some visual proof about this 7th run that was not, coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's pretty easy to lose track of where the money is going at all times, and that's where Monarch Money comes in. They are your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. And Monarch Money is not just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts. You can track your investments and your spending, and you get to do it all in one place. So you stop managing your money and actually start building wealth. And I know that getting things delivered is very easy and convenient, but you sometimes don't realize how much money you're actually putting out there in the world. And then you get the tab and you're like, whoa, where did it all go? And that's where Monarch Money is going to come in and help you budget smarter and save more. And instead of juggling multiple apps, you just use Monarch Money to check your finances, track your spending, and even plan long-term goals. And if, say, you're married or you've got a partner that, you're sharing accounts with, it'll help make managing your money together even easier. Takes the stress out of it. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Leave your comments on YouTube as well as on X anytime you want. Your feedback is always welcome and encouraged. Got a lot of feedback on a couple of different things during last night's game. After the Cardinals got their 6-3 lead, there was still one out at the time, and Lars Nootbaar was at the plate. Hits a fly ball to center fielder O'Neal Cruz, who, as we know, has an absolute cannon for an arm. Shortstop for the first couple of years of his career. You've seen it. They talk about it. Oh, StatCast, like Mason Wynn's type of arm. Like, they're very similar. They just got thunderbolts attached to their torsos. And this ball wasn't hit all that deep to center field. I would say almost shallow, really. And Victor Scott II is on third base, one of the fastest guys in the league. He's going to try it. They're up 3 runs at this point, willing to try and tag up and score on the play. Cruz throws a frozen rope to home plate, and the ball clearly beats Victor Scott. It does, no doubt. Catcher Joey Bart applies the tag. Watching it live, I thought he was out as well. When it first happened, bang, bang, I was like, wow, what a throw. Man, got Victor Scott. He's out. But then they go to the replay, and genuinely no hometown bias here at all. Like, not at all. Just being honest. Victor Scott clearly is touching home plate with his hand before Bart ever even tags him. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to put this picture up. There it is. There is the proof. Like, he's not even touching him yet. Ball is in Bart's glove. He's got his throwing hand over the ball. Victor's hand is right where Bart's knee is. Bart's knee is on the plate. We saw it from different angles. We know that's where it was. And if that's the case, unless Victor Scott's oven mitt and hand are somehow floating above the plate, which it does not appear to be doing in this photo, Victor Scott is safe at the plate. And when they showed the replay, I was like, oh my gosh, he is in there. He got in there. That he never tags him until he gets up to like Victor's elbow. The Cardinals, rightfully so, challenge the play. They have them check if the tag was there before he touched the plate. They also say, hey, was Bart blocking the plate before he had the ball, impeding Victor's chances of touching the plate, which is also a no-no. Can't do that. This was a whole part of the thing of avoiding collisions at home plate, keeping people healthy. So they go to the replay. They're showing it up on the screen at Busch Stadium. Victor Scott standing there on the infield with, the signaling safe. The players all think he's safe. The fans think he's safe. I think he's safe. I think the Pirates, who had already ran into the dugout, were like, oh, crap, we got to go back out there. And the MLB replay officials upheld the call on the field that Victor was out. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like the Cardinals players were at a loss for words. They were looking around like, what? I couldn't believe it. I'm sure plenty of you couldn't believe it. I know the Twitter X world couldn't believe it because they were losing their minds. I don't know how that call wasn't overturned. I have no idea how that call was upheld. I have not seen an explanation as to why it was that way. You know, replay is there to get stuff like this right. The home plate umpire had a crappy view because he was actually behind the catcher for whatever reason. I don't know why he was out of position there. I feel like Chip on the telecast was saying, well, he was trying to get here, but then Bart moved. I don't know. It looked like he was in a bad spot. But that's what replay is there for. It's to help him. It's to help the guys out. That's the whole point. If the ump gets stuck in a bad view, if something happens and gets in the way and blocks his view, and he makes the wrong call, you can help him out and get it right. And for whatever reason, it didn't work here. And I also find it amusing that if you go to the top stories on MLB.com, this particular throw from O'Neal Cruz is something they're promoting. They're like, whoa, what a great throw. Yeah, it was. He went real fast, and the guy was safe, though. And you guys blew the call. And I'm going to die on that hill along with thousands of other Cardinals fans because I don't know how it was upheld. It was so bizarre. Luckily for the Cardinals, this play didn't come back to haunt them. It almost did because in the ninth inning, Ryan Helsley, who is so shaky right now, like he makes me nervous every time he comes in. I don't know when the last time he got the first out in an inning was. But he's having issues in the ninth inning, and the tying run comes to the play. Brian Reynolds, who homered off Michaelis earlier in the game, which, by the way, first home run Michaelis had given up this year. I had not realized that. I thought he gave up 9 of them against Boston, but first home run he gave up this year, which is saying something for Michaelis, who led the team in home runs given up last year. But Brian Reynolds barely misses tying this game up. He hits one home run worthy distance, but he pulls it just a little bit foul down the right field line. And had he tied that game, I might have kicked my TV in. I might have snapped, lost my mind after seeing what happened to the Blues the previous night and giving up that goal so late. And then for something like that to have happened, it might have been the end of it. Like I might have just snapped. It might have said bye-bye to the TV and things were going through that screen. But thank God it didn't matter in the end. But I would love to hear the explanation on that one. I haven't seen one yet and probably won't. But I just feel like the MLB's got to do better than that. That was rough. Speaking of photos and speaking of rough, I had another screen grab last night that caused fans to start talking about the lack of attendance at last night's game. I'm going to show you that picture. We'll discuss it and preview tonight's game coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. There's nothing better than catching an MLB game live, the crack of the bat. You get the roar of the crowd and the smell of the ballpark food. And if you're looking to go last minute to a particular ball game, Gametime is going to make tickets more available. They're going to make getting your tickets even easier. That's what they're there for. With last-minute deals, all-in pricing, and the lowest price guaranteed, Gametime is going to take the stress out of buying MLB tickets. Plus, ticket prices drop as Gametime gets closer, meaning you can score an incredible deal. Gametime is the official ticketing partner of Locked On. And as the season continues and as the kids get out of school and, weather gets better, you're probably going to want to go down to the ballpark, especially if the Cardinals keep winning the way they have at home. One of the great features about Gametime is the Gametime Picks feature, which makes finding the best deals effortless. It's going to filter out all the fluff and highlight the top discounts in the stadium in areas that you're going to want to sit in. It's not going to put you up in the third deck in the last row or something like that. It's going to take those kind of deals away. I love that you can preview the exact seat that you're going to be at before purchasing. They're going to give you a view. So whether it's sitting behind home plate or down the baseline or in the bleachers, wherever you want to be, you're going to be able to get there, see what it's going to look like, and going to give you options with unbeatable prices. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube as well, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Was a late one last night as we were hosting that one. I was hosting it with John from Locked On Angels, and we had the extra innings game between the A's and the Mariners, which was crazy. But things went well for what happened as far as timing for the Cardinals game as they wrapped up in reasonable time. Attendance at Busch Stadium, though, that was something that kind of stood out last night. You know, attendance at Busch, it's down this year. You know this. It's something that was expected considering the trajectory of the attendance since that ugly 2023 campaign. It's been going in the wrong direction. It got worse last year when they didn't hit 3 million fans, and this year they are expected to be even less than last year's numbers. So this is the photo. If you're on YouTube, you can see it. If you're not, you can go to X and see what I posted from last night. But this is the photo just before first pitch. This is Miles Michaelis taking the mound, getting things situated, and there's nobody there. Like, it is very empty. Plenty of good seats available, as we say, when we're joking around. Thousands of them, to be exact. Now, the reported paid attendance on Monday was 22,369. You do not have to be a genius to realize that there were not 22,000 plus people in the stadium. And in my post, I put the words, oh my gosh, there's nobody at the stadium. And I use the word sad. I go, this is sad, which when I was describing the scene, and maybe I shouldn't have used that word. You know, maybe I should have just pointed out how empty it was and just let it be. But it does make me sad to see the lack of fans at the game, because I know fans care. I know you give a crap, but there's different reasons why people weren't there last night. I had a lot of people hitting me up, and nobody was really being rude about it. They were just stating their opinion, and they were saying that, you know, I had a lot of people saying weather was part of the reason, that it was too cold for some people. It was a Monday, obviously. You know, Mondays are the start of the work week, and people are like, I know, I'm tired, I'm not going out, which is a factor. The Pirates are in town. They're not a sexy team by any means. I get it. The Cardinals are a below 500 team this year. Even though they played really, really well at home overall, they're below 500. You've also got, you know, the fact that ownership and management are saying that this is a transition year. So they didn't put any money into the team really to improve it, and are relying on guys already in the organization that they feel should be good enough to help them win more ball games. They're going to now get the time and attention to become better players. No matter how tough the struggles are, how many losses pile up, they want to find out what they have with guys like Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman. I understand all of that. I really do. And I will never tell someone how to spend their money or how to spend their time. That's not what I'm here for. I can make suggestions, but it's ultimately up to you. It is your choice. It is your money. It's your time. It's your life. Fans are clearly making a statement on how they feel about the direction of the team and how things have been handled the last few seasons since, 2022, when you had Pujols and Molina and went to the playoffs and lost to the Phillies. Since then, things have been different. Right now, the Cardinals are a 17-19 team. They're below 500. They're 5 games back of the Cubs in the division. They're only a game behind the Reds and Brewers for second place, but most people agree that this is not a team that is likely going to go to the playoffs, at least not right now. They've got one of the best home records in the league. They're 13-6, tying the home win totals of big teams, big markets like the Mets and the Phillies and the Tigers. They trail only the Padres and the Dodgers. Padres got 14 home wins. Dodgers got 15. Cardinals are right there with these guys. Winning normally brings fans back to the ballpark. Normally. We'll see if this team can continue to do that, win ball games, especially at home. We'll see if warmer weather helps. School getting out, maybe families will be more apt to go down to the ballpark. And maybe that'll help the look at Busch Stadium. It got pointed out to me plenty of times that Miles Michaelis is pitching in your picture. Well, that's why we're not there. I'm like, okay, I get it. I understand. When I saw it, it was shocking. And it makes me miss the good old days. As a fan of this team for so long, since I was a baby. I'm not trying to offend anyone or trying to get people yelling at each other in the comments sections online about why the ballpark is empty. That wasn't my purpose. I just miss the atmosphere that I grew up with at Busch Stadium. And it makes me a little sad to see it this way, but that's just me. All right. Again, not trying to start a fight with anybody. I was just being very vulnerable and honest. Just saying, makes me sad. It makes me sad to see the seats like that, man. Tonight, maybe things will get better. Should be a really good pitching matchup. Paul Skenes taking the mound for Pittsburgh against Matthew Liberatore for the Redbirds. So two young, up-and-coming superstars. You could say Skenes is a superstar already. Matthew Liberatore has been excellent for the Cardinals so far this year since coming to the rotation, which has been a good move by the Cardinals management. Got to give them credit on that one. Pirates were able to beat Libby early this season in his first start, but the Cardinals also beat Skenes in that series in Pittsburgh and have found much more success against him than other teams around the league. So they'll try to continue that trend tonight. I don't know. Was that Libby's first start? I'm trying to remember if that was Libby's first start. Either way, one of his first couple ones at the very least. So anyway, had like that one bad inning, and then things got easier for him, and they've been excellent ever since. So we'll see if they Cardinals can continue that trend by taking down Paul Skenes and company tonight and win another series. That's the ultimate goal. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, give us a follow on X at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. We're on TikTok and Instagram. Please like, subscribe on YouTube. Help our channel and our love for the Cardinals grow. Still making that push for 12,000 subscribers, getting closer and closer every day. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hook a brother up. You guys are the best fans in baseball for a reason, and I'll see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.